Scrapbook people, Tracy Reed here today, and today I'm going to be making a 9x12 layout using the Cocoa Daisy Take Flight collection. So Cocoa Daisy only gives you papers that are 6x8, so I'm going to be stretching this rainbow paper to make a 9x12 layout. I'm really into bigger layouts again this year. I want to start adding to a bigger layout stash. I'm not really into Traveler's Notebook size so much this year. We'll see if I make any Traveler's Notebook size layouts, but we're going to go with 9x12. I prefer 9x12 generally to 12x12, but I can't promise that I won't be making 12x12 layouts this year too. But this one's going to be 9x12. So I have this paper cut down into strips, and I'm going to use that for the background of what goes behind my photo. So I'm going to take all of these paper strips and I'm actually going to distress them with my little distressor thingy mobobber. It's just a razor basically. But this is going to give the page some texture. You can see I'm going hyper fast here. But this is going to give the page some texture and set the whole thing up with a good base for me to build on top of. So obviously I don't have a lot of, I'm not building on a patterned paper because my papers are only 6x8, but that doesn't mean that you can't make larger paper or larger layouts, just like if you had a 6x8 paper pad, you can make larger layouts. I've done a whole series on how to make 12x12 layouts out of smaller printables. So this is the same sort of concept. So I've got all of these done here, and then I'm going to start putting them down just kind of in a row, but a little bit wonky so they're not just straight across the page. I'm just adding a strip of adhesive on each one so that the distressed edges don't flatten out. They're still kind of sticking up. And then when I get to the end of putting all of these strips down, I realize that I need one more, but I actually really like that I needed one more because I feel like ending on the same pattern was super cool. So while it's not one singular piece of paper, it is close enough. I'm also going to distress the edge of the journaling card so that it matches. This is a photo of me, or my husband and I, on our motorcycle. I'm obviously on the back of the bike, and there was a beautiful rainbow off in the distance that I have never scrapbooked this photo because I've just never really had a collection that matches. So I thought that this would be perfect, especially with the grays in the photo and the grays in the collection. So after I had all the papers down, I decided that I wanted to use the stamps from the stamp set that is included, one of the stamp sets that's included in the memory keeping collection. And I'm going to use the hot air balloons, obviously, and the clouds. And I'm not going to leave it just stamped. I decided that I want to incorporate some of the stickers and the die cuts from the collection as well, so that not only do I have the really cool stamping going up the edge, but I also have some texture too. So I'm sorry you can't see the very bottom of this page. I'll move it up in just a second. But you can see I'm incorporating the puffy stickers into the stamped images, and I really love the way that that gives the layout some diversity of texture. Just like with the textured paper strips, we're just adding a lot of different pieces of depth with this page. So I thought maybe I would add in the other stamp set too, but I decided to stay with the stamp set that I'm using, and I added It's a Good Day to Be Happy. And then I want to add in the cute little birds too. I do end up covering up at least one of the birds that I stamped just because it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to look. I'm not quite sure which one, but we'll find out together. And so I wanted to make sure, one of the key things about stamping or adding things that have like a direction is that you don't necessarily want them, like that bottom bird down there, flying off the page. Now I moved him in a little bit so that he wouldn't look like he was flying directly off the page. He's just kind of flying towards the outside edge of the hot air balloon, and I think that that works. But generally anything that has like eyeballs, you want them to be looking into your page, not out to your page. So I might actually have covered that one up because it might have ended up bothering me. I'm not quite sure if that's the one that got covered up, but because he's facing the wrong way, he bothers me more than the yellow one above there that is facing the wrong way because he's even further out. But that's generally my rule of thumb. It makes it so that the viewer is always looking towards your page and not off the page. I am using some foam tape from Spiegelmom Scraps to pop this card up off of the page, again with the depth. I didn't do that with the photo because I wanted the photo to sit directly underneath it, so if they were both popped up, they wouldn't they wouldn't sit nicely together. Now this sticker, this die cut is vellum. It's from the stationery collection, so it is a vellum sticker, and so I decided to leave the backing on so that it wouldn't be see-through. I'm going to cut out all of these journaling labels from this card, and I'm going to actually stick them into the cluster that I have on the right hand side rather than using it as a journal card. I didn't want to cover up any more of the white space from the page than I already had. I really like that sort of right justified orientation on this layout a lot. I think it's cool and something that I don't normally do. So I wanted to make sure that I just leaned really heavily to the right and didn't mess up all of that extra white space. So instead of adding a journaling card, I'm just going to incorporate these journaling boxes into the page. Ah, there's the one that gets covered up. So no, I let those birds survive, but that one was facing that way too, so I just have a thing. I have a thing, but I think it works. Okay, so we've got those down. I'm going to rearrange some of these stickers just slightly so that everything is incorporated together just a little bit better now that I have those labels that are sticking out. But you can see I'm pretty indecisive. There we go. Oh, maybe. Oh, yes, that helped. Moving that bird to the left-hand side of that hot air balloon helped with him looking off the page. Gonna add in this banner just for fun. And I almost added in a title, but I did put all the stickers down and didn't love it. So instead I'm gonna add these raindrops because obviously it's stormy in my photo. So I'm gonna add the raindrops, and I think that that's really cool and adds a, you know, a downward vibe for this cluster. So it looks like it's raining from the top to the bottom. I don't know, just weird things that pass through my mind. See, you can see the title here that I end up taking off because I'm going to put in these stickers that are sort of watercolor smudges because I wanted to add just a little bit of color, but I still wanted it incorporated into the actual cluster rather than sticking too far out. So when I do that, I decide that it's just too much and it's taking away from the white space, and really the title is repetitive anyway. It's not really like important. It doesn't do anything for my page. So I'm going to end up taking those off, and I really like the way that that looks better than having the title. So I'm going to stick this one down as well in a couple of different places. I'm going to trim off the excess and then I'll use that in a couple of different places. I love how that top corner anchors this whole page. I feel it looks really cool. Put it down here and on the side, and then when I do that, I decide that I need to rearrange the title and the watercolor. So I'm just going to take it all off. Well, first I'm going to move the watercolor before it sticks too much to the background paper. I like that better. Kind of working with the papers instead of going down. And then take off that title and add in one more puffy sticker, and that is perfect. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm